It is that time of the month again when I'll whip out my camera and start waffling on about 3D printed files and creators that are available. So let's get kicking with October's roundup. And first off, we are starting with fantasy. Now throughout this whole thing, I didn't find quite as many files as I normally do. A lot of things weren't released yet, so I guess creators are just kind of backlogged at the moment. And also, just a very quick side rant, my mini factory seems to be getting worse and worse and worse when it comes to like load speeds and just failures of like pages loading. Let me know your experience. But for such a big company, when they're like the pivotal thing that delivers files, I really wish they'd sort their crap out. Anyway, ran over and we're kicking off with fantasy. And first up, we've got Artisan Guild. And they've got some incredible looking beastmen. I really like these files. Artisan Guild come up every so often depending on what sort of thing they're doing. Their files overall are fantastic. The sculpting style is absolutely amazing as well. All modular, so you've got all the different types of weapons and different like loadouts. Some will have helmets, some will not have helmets. Just overall, they are really good looking files. They also come off their supports really nicely as well. Any that I've ever printed for them, been fantastic. Next up, we've got the Printing Goes Ever On, and I've put the Jade Empire. And this is really different to anything that I've ever done. I've not printed anything by them, but I really like the look of these. I think they're just different enough that they stand out. So there's a whole lot of like feudal Japanese, beautiful looking armor and everything else. They're really just different to anything else that I've seen out there as well. They probably won't fit with a massive amount, and I would imagine they're not going to appeal to a huge amount of people, but there's going to be a certain group of people out there who've been looking for something like this. I think they just look really nice. They're very well sculpted, some really nice unique poses in there, and I just love the look of like all the armor and everything, the detail and stuff that's gone into it. Yeah, absolutely top notch. Next up, we've got Highlands Miniatures, and they've done a whole range of undead. As you'd expect, pretty much every single October, when it comes to Highlands Miniatures, they do some undead stuff. And these look really nice. You've got obviously skeletons on foot. You've got skeletons with different weapon loadouts and everything else. This lord, this big old wraith as well. And I really like I think the skeletons on, or the vampires. Some undead beastie on undead horsey. Here we go, we've got more details here. They look really nice, very well posed. And actually the good thing is, some of them have their legs up, which on horses can be really annoying because they can bend and flex over time. But for the most part, they've also got additional bits that attach them to the base, like on the front hoof that's up like that, you know, as you do. They've got like this tuft of grass and bits that kind of stick out to help support it. Just, if you're ever sculpting horses or anything like that, the more points of contact we can have with the base, the better, because the flexible resins over time start to kind of sag. If they're too heavy, which with a mount on top and everything else like that can get a bit annoying. So really like those. A lovely little style. If you're doing something like Old World, even Age of Sigmar, anything like that, they're absolutely fantastic little sculpts. Next up, we've got the Beholder Miniatures, and they are doing dwarves and a little bit of chaotic stuff, as they normally do. But we're starting to get goblins, and I love me some orcs and goblins. And with their goblin set this month, it's not huge, but it's squigs and squig herders, and I love squigs and squig herders. They are like my favorite bit of orcs and goblins, so really like that. So they've got these like hellhounds for like your chaotic units, these big old chaos warriors as well, and then of course you've got all your dwarven units as well. So they look beautifully nice, as they always do. They do a really good job with all the dwarven units. But then you've got the squigs. Oh, and I do like these. They look great. They look different enough from, I guess, your Games Workshop squigs, but they look close enough as well that you can put them in your army and they're not going to stand out too much. I really like those. They're a little bit more armoured than normal squigs. They're almost like a cross between a Tyrannid and a squig, which I didn't know that I needed until now. And in fact, you could probably have a lot of fun with that, actually. Maybe having some like Tyrannid squigs, Squigs in your army. Ooh, I like that. So yes, that is Beholder's Miniatures. And then the last on my fantasy list, I've got Avatars of War, and they've done these Chaos Trolls. I've done some Trolls by Avatars of War before, and they are lovely. They're really nice. They're a multi-part kit, so you get all the torsos and legs, and then you put those together, and then you can choose which head you're going to use, you can choose what hands, what weapons, and everything else. And these look great. So you've got like this one mutant troll with like 3 arms, and then they're all just got like these big old tusks and chaos heraldry and all of that jazz. They're really, really nice, and they are old Hammer style. So if you're into that old Hammer style, you know, the old, really, really old stone troll that just came back out for like made to order, which has got like the club and the hand and the goofy eye. They're those, and I love those. They are my favourite trolls, and these are great. So Avatars of War, if you're looking for some chaos trolls, that's where to go. So next up, we are moving on to Sci-Fi, and we're kicking off with Station Forge, and they've got a whole bunch of orcs, as you'd expect, which does make me laugh. I think I mentioned in my last video that it's odd that they're doing orcs when they said they're not going to do orcs. Basically, they said, no one's downloading our orcs, so we're not doing orcs anymore. And they continue to do lots of orcs. And their orcs are amazing. I've just printed off a whole bunch, actually. And these aren't from the October release, but I'm going to do something for October, because I never do. They're really nice. They're all like multi-part and everything. Very, very well sculpted. But this month, they've got, once my mini factory loads, because it's such a fantastic website. So yeah, you've got basically like your Orca team fighters, which look great. You've got this orc here with a bagpipe. I don't know what he's doing. It looks like a bagpipe. Big old miniguns. They look like they're trying to be serious, and they're not. They're amazing. And then you've also got some Grimguard scarecrows, which I think is really weird, but I guess in keeping with Halloween. But then these like jesters, they're like these assassin style sci-fi jesters. And these look weird, but in a good way. They just, I can't quite fathom what's going on here. They're very fun. They're almost like, I suppose, Deadpool, and there's some Mortal Kombat in there, tied in with like assassins from Warhammer. It's a weird mix, but it kind of works. And then of course you've got some just more orky bits. It's a really fun release so far this month. Anyway, moving on, we've then got Arc Villain Games, and they've done some traitors, because, you know, anyone who turned against the Emperor is a traitor. Don't care what you say. But yeah, these look really, really nice. And at first I was like, oh, are they traitors? What are they? They are traitors. They've got spikes on them, which makes them traitors, of course. But some absolutely gorgeous looking vehicles. These tanks look amazing. And I'm really interested to see what Games Workshop do when they revamp all their chaos stuff, especially with like Emperor's Children coming. If they can do stuff like this, like the sizing here and the proportions and everything, you've got like these chaotic Terminators that look amazing, but they don't look goofy. And then all like their jump troops, and the tanks look incredible. It makes me a little bit more excited to see what obviously Games Workshop do with chaos once Emperor's Children roll around. So that's Arc Villain Games. It's the Orbiter Hellscape Legions. They look fantastic. Next up, we have print minis, and I've put here Necromunda Mini Terrain, Gene Stealers, and Mutants. So these ones do pop up every so often. There seems to be like every other month. I really like the look of their stuff. This month, again, Necromunda style, so you get some Necromunda Terrain. They've got all of these like mutant outcasts as well, which look adequately nice. Again, multi-part, so you can mix them up and do your own thing. They've got these weird, I guess it's their take on that Gene Stealer for Necromunda that's all like, I don't know, looks like it's been infected by something from The Last of Us. And then you've got this really cool commander looking thing. I'm sure, ooh, there's a lot there. If you're into Necromunda, you want to make your own little gang, something like that. These look really, really nice. Definitely a lot there to choose from. Next up, we are going on to Daka, and I've got Orcs and Space Knight Builder. So they've got some really good looking Orc kits. Again, as you'd expect, it's October, so it tends to be the thing that everyone then jumps into once my mini factory loads, because it's here finally. So you've got basically like his Orc Commander dude, who looks really, really nice. But then the big old kit, which looks like, I can't remember what the name of the kit is from Games Workshop, but the big old mech one, who's got like his hodden hands and the things. I mean, you can see what it is on screen here. Looks lovely. I really like that. I might have to get that and print it off to go with my other October stuff. And then, although it's not been fully shown off yet, they've shown this like render of what they can be doing for the Space Knights builder, which basically looks like old Warhammer Space Marines. So Firstborn, where you had the legs printed, well, not printed, legs came on a separate sprue, and then the body, and you had to like twist it around, and you had to try and get the arms on there to hold, and then you had to like put the hand into the gun and then get the other hand to grip under the gun. You hopefully know what I mean. And then gradually it'd all like sag and you're like, no, my model is all out of pose. It's those kits. That'd be great. So yeah, that looks like a really, really nice kit and just a lot of nostalgia there. Next up, we've got Unit 9, and I put cyberpunk style things here. So again, I'm not entirely sure where this would fit, but it fits with Sci-Fi. It looks very much like a whole bunch of units lifted from something like Cyberpunk 2077 that you could maybe do something with. I don't know, like Inquisition bodyguards, for example. I think these would be really nice if you were doing some kind of sci-fi roleplay, or if you just wanted to make your stuff look different. There's a whole bunch here. They look really, really interesting. There's so much going on there. Also, all like the different mech arms and stuff like that. I really like it. There's a lot to play with, and you could definitely do something a bit more characterful for your armies. Then we've got a one-page rules, and this might be my favorite one-page rules release, and that is the Human Defense Force. And I really, really like these. These look absolutely fantastic. Now, where are they? So this comes with so many different things, and these look like a really nice cross between, I guess, Imperial Guard, but more in a, I guess, closer to modern setting. Lovely vehicles as well. So you get these two tanks that look amazing. You get some dogs to go with them all as well. I just really like them. Or like the big heavy weapon stuff as well, where they've got the two people using it. They're Halo-esque, Imperial Guard-esque, modern-esque. There's loads of themes in there, but it's not too muddy. It's not like all these things are kind of getting in the way of each other. It all combines really, really nicely. I love this set. And this, like I said, I think is my favorite release by One Page Rules. It looks absolutely amazing. Next up, we've got Immaterium God. And this one is really nice. Something that I didn't think that I would like at all. So they've been doing loads and loads, and I don't know why I said loads so weirdly then, like chaos units. And then they've done these like corrupted Sisters of Battle, and these look absolutely fantastic. They look really, really good. I would love to see, and I know I've already mentioned Emperor's Children there, but to do something like corrupted Sisters of Battle to go alongside those as well, because I don't know, it's all about excess and lust and everything else, and having those two things suddenly like breaking all vows of silence and coming together. This sort of theme here looks really, really nice. The tank looks amazing. You've then got the corrupted baby, which is amazing because Warhammer 40k is just so, like, you read the novels and you hear all the lore and stuff that's going on behind it, and it's just like, that's outrageous. It's like absolutely the grim darkness. It's just some bits are not captured onto the tabletop. We've got a corrupted baby. It's there. This is amazing. I love it. And then you've got these like tortured souls, like the tortured sisters, which have the body of a woman, but they're almost like a servitor type thing. So they've got all these like whips and chains coming off where their arms should be. This is a really, really nice set. And I think it really leans into all of that lore from 40k. It doesn't necessarily transfer over to tabletop quite as well. They've absolutely smashed it. I love this set. Next up, and the last one on here, we've got Proxy Brewer, and I put Kylo Ren Guardsman. Now, these are just, they're beautiful sculpts, but some of them have like a Kylo Ren mask. And yeah, I really like these. These look amazing. So they look like your Imperial Guard. These were the ones that were on last month, and somebody mentioned that, I think they said they were like resurrected guards, and they had the faceplate over them to not show who they were, like interesting lore behind it. And these look amazing. And if there's some lore behind these as well, like did Kylo Ren go to 40k and do something? Because they've got a slightly Kylo Ren mask type thing going on. I guess it's more of a bounty hunter thing than anything. It's probably not that Kylo Ren, and I'm just, you know, making things up in my head. These look amazing, and their armor looks really good as well. Just so much about these units looks absolutely fantastic. So that is Proxy Brewer, and some really, really good stuff there. Moving on to D&D. So first up, we've got Arc Villain Games, and they've gone for an undead set. Now, again, this is the type of thing that I would never do myself, because the detail on it is just phenomenal, and you would have to be able to paint like a pro. I think it was something like this. So like the first one that pops up is this crimson, this blood rite on this big old beast, and the detail there is phenomenal. I think the great thing about Undead though, and if you're going to get this set and you're going to do your D&D campaign with it, because these models look gorgeous. There's some absolutely like breathtaking sculpts here. If you were going to do this, I think doing it almost in picking out a couple of colors, so do them all black first, and then hitting it with a few xenophils, and then maybe spraying it with some, I don't know, some reds and everything else to give it this almost like blood glow coming off of them. And they're just not really doing anything else with them. You could have a lot of fun with that, and it would help to pick out a lot of the details and show them off without them just being like black and white. I mean, even black and white, to be fair, with these would look amazing. There's just so much detail. So I'm going to stop waffling. That's Art Villain Games. Obviously, you're going to get all of your adventure, your stat blocks, and gorgeous, gorgeous models. Next up, we've got Mammoth Factory Games. And they are back. I've not covered them for quite a while, but they're doing this like roadside adventure, which looks interesting. There's a lot of good fun things going on here. But one thing that I really like, and it seems to be the thing that wins me over all the time, is just having a really nice set of guards or militia. So in this case, you've got these militia, you've got the cutthroat bandits, so just stuff that you would need for pretty much every adventure. You're going to go into a town. You know, at some point you will go into a town, so it's nice to have some guardsmen. You're probably going to cover some bandits, and again, it's nice to have some bandits. And then they've got the hero units that look really, really nice. They're very well sculpted. The good contact points as well, so all the weapons are thick, which is always nice. So the sword isn't like this tiny little thing. They're just very, very well sculpted. And then you've got these like rhino and elephant troops, which is just so weird and bizarre. But again, it's that sort of thing that makes me think, oh, how does that fit? I want to find out now. I want to know what's in that adventure because that's just a bit bizarre. So I need to know more. And then, of course, you've got Amaranth, who's like their mammoth factory, basically. So a big old mammoth in 100mm scale. Looks amazing. Again, so there's a lot there to like. And I really like their render. I'm glad they've gone back to this render style because their previous renders where they've all been blue and stuff like that, it makes it really hard to see what on earth is even going on there. So I'm glad they've gone back to that. Anyway, moving on to the last one, and that is White Werewolf Tavern. I put Creepy Scarface for this one. So these had some beautiful looking sculpts as well, like some really, really nice sculpts. So again, you're going to get your adventure, stat blocks, all of that jazz. But for this, I mean, the one that really stood out to me was this, I don't know, big creature with like this, I don't know, Cloud from Final Fantasy's Buster Sword. And then the I Know What You Did Last Summer hook. And it's got this scar face going across him. It looks absolutely amazing. And then you've got all these other monsters as well to go with it. And then the main like female hero unit, this elf, looks fantastic. Like a really, really well sculpted and detailed miniature. I love that scythe that she's got going. And then you get all these like huntresses to go with them as well. It's just a lovely looking set. Everything about this one makes me, again, want to know more and get these printed. Weapons look great. Everything about it looks good. So it's White Werewolf Tavern, which was apparently really hard for me to say earlier. So moving across onto terrain, and out of everything this month, there was a lot of really good terrain. So first up, we've got Terrain Essentials. I guess clues in the name. And I've put scatter terrain for this one. Now, the thing that made this one stand out to me is there's some really, really nice scattered terrain. But more importantly, it's got loads of like pillars and columns and all these like broken wooden runways and stuff like that that you can put over the top of them as well. So if you've watched these videos for a while, you know that I quite like a bit of verticality. And I still don't know if that's a real phrase and stuff, but it's got obviously like small pillars and columns and medium ones and then larger ones so you can then make all that play space just a bit bigger and you can just add a bit more three-dimensional play to your games. So I really like that. But there's a whole bunch of other stuff as well that you can put in there. Next on the list, we've got Infinite Dimensions, and they've gone for Town Ruins. And unlike some of the other town ruins that I've covered in the past, these are quite big town ruins. There's some really nice large buildings that look like they've just been like slashed in half and they're all like broken up in the middle. So it's a really nice looking set. So here we go. So yeah, you've got this big old like house that's all broken down the middle. There's loads of stuff going on there. Lots of like broken, destroyed furniture as well. So you can mix it all up and just kind of do a lot of different decorative bits in there. It's always nice to have some broken play space as well to kind of hide your units in. if you're doing something like D&D, to be able to do that as well and just explore it. And again, with the furniture bits you could put in there as like an objective or exploration, just helps to add a bit more narrative to your stories. Next up, we've got Gamescape 3D, and they've done this peasant hamlet. I really like it. It's, again, it looks like it'd be quite easy and fast to, first off, print off, but then also to paint, because it's mostly just browns and then with like a dark oil wash over the top of it. And then once that's dried, just, I guess, dry brushing with some yellows and creams, and you'd be able to get it done really fast. They're all basically wood and hay. And it's really, really nice. Again, there's play space inside of it, so you can lift the roofs off of it, put units inside of it. Got these little walls and stuff that you can put around it. Just a nice thing to have. Most places, again, if you're going to use it for D&D, you're going to come across some kind of like peasant type village. And if you're doing something like wargaming, again, it's nice to have that and just a bit more barricades and add a bit more narrative to your story. Next up, we've got Dark Realms, and I put Ruins, which doesn't help narrow it down for me. So let's pop that up. Here we go. So these ruins are fantastic. I know I talk about ruins a lot, but these are really, really nice ruins. These are big, big old ruins. You could basically print off like a whole city with this. So the great thing about this one is it's got these like platforms. So they've got like these steps that go up to the platform. The platform's all ruined. And then you can print the different, I guess, building that goes on top of that platform as well. So you've got loads of different sort of like height of buildings, lots of different large buildings as well with all of the play space. There's so much going on with this one. I really, really like this. I think if you wanted to have something that was a fully blown, like big destroyed sort of like village and have all these really fun ruins, this is maybe one of the nicest sets that I've seen, because a lot of them tend to be like small little broken buildings and stuff like that, which is nice. It's nice to have, but this really has gone to town. Yeah, and destroyed it. And yeah, absolutely made something very, very nice there. So I like this one. This is a very nice one. So Stonevale Ruins, I think it's called. And that is by Dark Realms. Next, we've got Miniatureland. I'm sure they've changed the name. I can't remember if this is one that I could never pronounce previously. So this is Canals and Castle. Let's pop this one up. So you've got this big old castle, which looks amazing. So again, if you're looking for a big modular castle, loads of play space and everything else, it's really, really nice. There's a lot going on there. But the thing that really drew me was this medieval canal district, which looks great. And similar to the previous ruins, you've got, I guess, the bottom bit. So I'm just going to show you the renders rather than me trying to do these gestures. And then like the almost street level bit that goes on top of it. And then you build up all the buildings. You've got the bridges to go. So you can make something that's almost like Vivek from Morrowind and just have that and just have all this water going between it. I think it's a really nice look. I don't know how practical it would be, but it'd be fun. So yeah, pop that on there. And last one on, we've got Sali Factory and Orc Ruins. And these look great fun. They're just weird and adequately orky. So they've got like Mount Rushmore for orcs. You've got this like orc Statue of Liberty head type thing. So loads of scatter terrain that you could use to go for all your October stuff. It's fun and it's goofy and it's absolutely fitting with what you can imagine some orcs who just got a little bit too full of themselves going off and doing. So last on this is our fundraisers. So your Kickstarters and all a few of my mini factory ones as well. I've left on here Great Hyde Studios because that is still running until the end of the month. So if you are into Blood Angels, you can back this and you can then get all of the different parts. So actual good stuff to go with your Sanguinary Guards, get all your different jetpacks, all your different Blood Angels bits as well. One thing that I've seen, so you can do a physical backing on this as well. And people have been getting these already. So they've been getting this stuff and it's all printed by Only Games. Now, I've had pretty good experiences with Only Games, but then bear in mind, I've only had stuff sent out to me as a creator. I've never ordered directly from them. But what I've been seeing on Reddit lately is people have been getting their stuff early for this set, and it's absolutely crap. It's like they've had support still on there. It's been massively overexposed, so the details have been all blown out and washed out. And then they've gotten back in contact with like Only Games who've said, we've had an issue with our first run and they're going to replace them. So good on them for replacing them. But then I did look a little bit more into Only Games and it seems like they've got a lot of production issues and stuff like that. So if you don't own a 3D printer and you really like this set, personally, I would wait. There are printing ones available so people can back this and print to sell. And there's apparently some really good ones. I think one's called Archie's Forge that everyone was ranting and raving about on Reddit, saying, you know what, if you can get them from that. And they'll be going live at the end of the month. So I really like this set. I backed it. I can't wait to get my stuff and start printing it. But I just wanted to throw that out there as well, just purely because I've covered them in the past from Only Games and I've not had that experience. So I don't want people to back these and then get something that they're disappointed with. So just wait and see that second run that they're doing at the moment, how well that turns out, and make your judgments from there. Next up, we've got this. I was in two minds to put this on here. So it's a terrain constructor, and you can also get these like army soldiers and everything to go with it as well. But I did put them on here in the end because I really like the look of it, and I think it's a really interesting idea. It's basically Warhammer 40k terrain, but with Lego connectors. So I like the bottom bits and everything all clip together, so you can then just build up your ruins and then clip them all together and then take them all apart and stuff. So Lego and 40k terrain together, I think it's a really good and interesting idea. Again, I don't know how practical it'll be, because by the time you build a building, you know, I always do this, you get all those modular buildings and stuff where it's like, oh great, I can take it all apart and then build out a different building. I never do. I build a building, I glue it together, and then I paint it, because I don't like having to mix it up and then when you move it and stuff, bits fall apart. But this seems like a different take on that, because it's probably less likely to all fall apart because of those like Lego type connectors. The reason I was in two minds about putting it on here is I'm not really clear on what you actually get from their campaign. It gives you all these example buildings and walls and stuff like that. And then it says, you know, there's like plus 300 STLs available for this. I'd quite like a list and overview of what I could actually expect. So I like it. Just back at your own risk for this. I would back it if I had a clearer idea of what I would actually get with it. But because that's not there, I've not backed it personally. But really, really interesting idea. Next up, we've got Operation Quarantine, which is like a World War II village. Again, really, really nice little thing here. Not too sure how well it would fit. I guess with 40k, you could say that they're invading a planet or whatever. But you get all of these like houses, you get all of these roads. Basically, you could build out a World War II village and have a lot of fun with that. So I guess if you are into that sort of play style, you've got like damaged buildings and everything else as well. There's a furniture set as part of that, which is one of their stretch goals. There's a lot of really good looking stuff there. So if you're into that, then it's definitely worthwhile having a look at. And last is Monster Slayer's Shadow Curse by Cripple God Foundry. I got sent some of their miniatures for this, and I'll pop them up on screen. I should be able to find those. Hopefully I've not deleted the footage. They're really nice. And the difference here with their physical ones is they were really, really well produced. So again, I don't know who they are getting sent out by. But with this, you're going to get all your terrain pieces, all of your creepy miniatures. There's adventures, battle maps, and all of that to go with it. And they're really nice. I like how creepy a lot of them look. And the fact, I think I mentioned in my video where I covered this, is there's a lot of units that you could use from this, not just for like D&D or part of this adventure, but for other things. You've got like giants, you could use for like Age of Sigmar. You've got this like weird tentacle type creature, which is definitely very Slaneshi, some kind of chaos that you could use it for. I really like it. So that is it for this month. Like I said, a lot of stuff wasn't released yet, which is a shame, especially as we're coming towards the end of the month. But you know, let me know if there's anything that I've missed. Anything that's come out after this video as well that you think people should know about, throw it down in the comments below. And wish me luck as well, because by the time you're watching this video, I'm going to be currently running a half marathon for charity. So if you never see or hear from me ever again, it didn't go particularly well, but my legs will be tired. So hope you've enjoyed that. If you have, hit the like and subscribe button. Come along for some more content in the future, and stay safe in the meantime. Ta-ra for now. Bye.